Do you know why golfers struggle to get that smooth and effortless golf swing when they do everything right in their setup, get this nice turn up to the top, but then feel a little bit restricted at the end and therefore the outcome doesn't work out in the favour? Well, it's probably because of the way you are set up to the golf ball with your feet. Now, the feet play a huge impact on the way you rotate into the top of the swing and then getting that transition and timing in the downswing, and that's what we're going to be diving into in this video. Now, a lot of golfers will usually set up to the golf ball with the feet pretty much so pointing straight ahead of you. Well, just to exaggerate things for this purpose, let's have them ever so slightly inward. When we have the feet ever so slightly inward, not quite pointing at the golf ball, but ever so slightly inward in relation to pointing straight ahead, and we make this turn up to the top of the swing now, I can already feel a huge amount of restriction on the backswing as I make my way up to where this lead arm reaches parallel to the ground. And just because there's a lot of tension going through my right knee, it's getting a bit sore doing this, a lot of strain taking place, not easy for me to make my way up to the top. So then what would happen is we get stuck in this point here and then have to fold our arms up to the top of the swing to try and create more leverage, finish off that backswing to get us into a decent position at the top. But if we've got this flexion in this lead arm, we're going to extend and probably hinder the strike. And the same on the way through, feet are internally rotated, so pointing inwards. If I turn on the way through now, again, it's very difficult for me to finish off that golf swing. So we're likely to stop rotating, begin to release the club too early, and then see those golf shots start going too far to the left. So rather than having these feet pointing directly ahead or facing too internal towards the golf ball, why don't we try and set them a little bit further away? So flaring the feet out like this, setting the feet like this here. What this is going to allow you to do is when you make your way up to the top of the swing, well, it's going to allow you to get there without having to conjure up any extra levers in this lead arm of ours. We're going to be able to rotate and continue rotating because we're adding less pressure on our knee joints. It's going to make it much easier to increase the turn up to the top of the swing and allow us just to freely get to the top of the swing as opposed to having to make any changes last minute to the backswing to get us set in a more reliable position. Same on the way through, flaring the left foot out on the way through, so the lead foot for me being a right-handed player. As I make my way through to finish here now, it's much easier for me to finish off that golf swing without having to early release the club and have those hands swinging high up towards the sky. I can allow them to continue rotating on this natural arc on the way through. So what I would suggest just to begin with is just taking a couple of practice swings doing this and hitting a few 9 irons, 8 irons. So I'm going to start off with a 9 iron here. And I'm going to set this target here for about 30 or 40 yards. So let's just change that just quickly, just to the front of the green here. So 24 yards. And this can apply to chipping as well because it just allows you to freely get that extra bit of rotation on the way back and on the way through. And what I would suggest is just adding that feeling of right hip works away from the golf ball, left hip works away from the golf ball. And that just gives you that sensation of, right, okay, well, you've got this extra bit of room now just to rotate freely, as opposed to having the feet straight up through and having to use a lot of work from our hands. This should be a natural movement. So flaring the feet out, getting that turn back and forth, just makes it much easier. So I've overhit that one there with a 9 iron, which is expected, only 24 yards. So let's just move this back a little bit more. Now 70 yards, bringing in that pitching swing. What I would suggest differently is just having a slightly wider stance, pretty much so the same stance width as your shoulder width. And what you should notice is that when you place the club up to the top like this here, hanging from one of the shoulders and letting it come to the ground, you can see it just lands on the internal side or the inside part of my toes, and that's great as long as the heel is in line with it. Perfect. So just like this here. So I'm setting this position now for pitching, weight ever so slightly forward, and I'm still thinking of the right hip going back, left hip going back, and just everything's working all in one sync. That should be a better shot this time. Yeah. still rolling out quite a lot with it being a 9-iron. I'm working my way up into fuller swings, 173 yards. I've just changed my club here to a 7-iron. Ever so slightly wider stance again, just slightly wider than shoulder width apart. I always recommend feet same, flared out. We're not going too much like this here to make it very difficult for us to rotate or too far inward like so. Just somewhere in the middle, just where it allows you to get this free motion, rotating back and rotating through. So the only thought I'm thinking about here, just to allow for this extra bit of turn into the backswing and on the way through, is getting that right hip to work away from the golf ball, then the left hip to work away from the golf ball. Nice and smooth. Let's see what we think. That was nice. That was really nice. Hold off the finish there a little bit just to make sure that I was getting the control. That's what I've been working on currently. Nice shot there. But how does this look with the driver? Just a quick shout out to GX Golf. They provide high quality golf clubs for a fraction of the price in comparison to the rest on the market. Using my discount code below, Harry10, you can get yourself a great 10% discount off any bundled packages of 3, 6 or 9 golf clubs. I've been using these for the last couple of months, really impressed with the products, going to be using them for the rest of the season. I'd highly recommend you check them out and see what you think for yourself. So driver in my hand, I've got a hole here, 398 yards, so a fairly long par 4, a little bit of a dog leg right to left. For this shot in particular, or any shot in particular with the driver from the tee, we obviously want to be making sure we're getting the right stance. So with driver, this will play a massive impact on the overall golf shot. If we've got the feet nice and wide, but pretty much pointing straight at this camera angle here, it's going to still be difficult to get that extra turn as I mentioned earlier. So flaring the feet out, especially this left one a little bit more, is going to make it much easier to get that wind up to the top of the backswing, because we usually go that extra bit more with driver, don't we? Because we want to hit it much further. But the left one flaring out a touch more in particular is just going to make it so much easier to stay in balance as we make our way through to that full finish. Have you ever wondered why your left foot lifts off the ground a little bit when you make your way through to finish? Or your heel lifts off the ground when you make your way through to finish? If it's like this here, bang on straight and we swing through, you've got to do a lot of maneuver because your knee can't take the pressure. You've got to allow that foot to flare out a little bit more with the driver. So same feeling for this, just flaring that foot out a little bit more with driver. Ball position is as normal, just on the lead heel. I'm just working my way up to the top of the swing, feeling that right hip working back and the left hip working back, and just allowing my weight to transfer onto the lead side of the body, staying nice and balanced and set from this flared lead foot. Really nice hit there. Felt like I was really able just to get that extra turn on the way back, extra turn on the way through, but stay nice and balanced. So go ahead, give us a try if you've never tried flaring your feet out to create that smooth and effortless golf swing in your golf game. Be sure to check out this video over here. I'd highly recommend this video to anyone that's looking for more great tips to help them with the driver downswing. I can show you how tour pros are able to hit the ball over 300 yards time and time again. So make sure you check that out as well.